I had an issue with my ammunition for my M&P Shield 40. Not major issues because I was able to correct it, but my Elite Performance 6 Hour, which is my carry ammunition, had an issue. I fired a round through, well, fired a magazine through to make sure that it would feed through, no problems. I like to test all of my ammunition that I'm going to carry, and they had no issue, so I thought that they were all good. But when I went to clear the chamber so that I could use my target ammunition, the round that was in the chamber would not clear. It actually had gotten lodged in there. It would slide into the barrel, but it would not come out. So that was an issue. In order to clear the chamber, I actually had to take a wooden dowel and poke it into the chamber, into the open chamber, to push out the round. Not a huge issue, but if that had been an emergency situation, if it were a self-defense situation, you cannot get a dowel to poke that round out. If there's any kind of issue with any kind of a jam or anything, you can't get it out. This is now a club. So it's good to have in your tools a dowel. I use this for a lot of things. I use it for if I have the chamber is clear, it's all clear. I use it if there's a squib load. I can use this to tap it out, or I can use a nut driver that I keep in my tools. It has nice rounded edges, and it actually will fit over the head of the bullet. So you can stick it right over the nose. They come in different sizes, so you can use different sizes for different calibers. And just tap it out, and I have a small hammer just in case. So just tap it out, done and over with. Always good to have the tools that you need, no big deal. But like I said, in an emergency situation, that would not work. That's not good. So I treated these the same way that I did my Winchester target ammunition. These had an issue with a failure to feed. So I took them and I checked the sizing on them with my calipers, and the lengths were all over the place. Not something that I would use if I were going to a class or to qualify, because you don't want distractions. You don't want issues where you're having to mess with the firearm, clearing anything. But these failed to feed 6 out of 21 rounds. So I took the rest of the rounds and I sent them through my seating die, which is also my crimping die. I have it doing both. I did the same with my 6 Hour carry ammunition. It's set up for a perfect length for my 40, because I do reload. So I know that those have no issues at that length. So I ran the rest of the Winchester through my seating die, So now they are the same size as my reloads, and most people would not even know the difference between the reload and the factory, other than the primer. Actually, if you looked at them, you would think that the reload was the factory, but this is actually the reload, which actually looks better than the factory. The difference is the primer. I don't know if you can see that, but the original primer is brass, reloading primer is steel. So after sending them through the seating die, then I went ahead and ran all of the Winchester, except for that one, through my M&P shield. All of them, no problems. They all fed. They all ejected the case. They all fired, no problems. I also went through and tested my Sig Sauer, made sure it all feeds, it all ejects, no problems. But, like I said, I wouldn't want to trust them out of the box in my M&P shield. I had never run into that issue before where I could not clear the chamber. So that was an interesting issue. I had some Sig Sauer, the Elite Performance, that I used in a 380. I had also run Winchester through my 380. They had no problems. So the variations in the size didn't matter for my 380, but apparently for the M&P shield, that was an issue. So running them through, even if you have a single press, and you can get them fairly inexpensive, a single press, and you throw a seating die on there, if you ever have any issues with a failure to feed or failure to eject, you can always send them through the seating die and it'll size them down to a good size and where you should have no issues. So then you don't have to get rid of them. You don't have to throw them off to the side and deal with an issue ammunition, unless you like having to clear a load, deal with the issues. It's good training, but for my carry ammunition, I want to be able to trust it. It's going to load, it's going to fire, it's going to clear. So that being said, I thought I would touch on that, maybe give a little heads up, something that I had never run into. So it was very interesting to have that fail to clear, fail to eject, and needing a tool to eject it. So something interesting. I did check my magazines, made sure that my magazines ran fine. So it was definitely an ammunition problem and not a firearm or magazine problem. So thought I would share that, and thank you for watching.